Welcome to Mainland Cycle Center's new vehicle department. Today I want to show you a 2012 Kawasaki Ninja 650R in the black. This is a new design for 2012, different from the 2011s. You know, this bike, the Ninja 650, was first introduced in 2006, and it's been really a good bike ever since. Fuel injected, 650cc twin, trellis type frame. In the beginning, this frame's a little different. But Kawasaki, I'm really surprised. A lot of times when they introduce a bike like this in this price range, they'll leave it the same for years and years without changing. But this bike has had changes about every 3 years or so. The 06, 07s, and 08s were the same. The 09s, 10s, and 11s were the same. They had a little change there. And then for 12, they redesigned the bike some again. And so they've just steadily been improving this bike since it was first introduced in 2006. And I think it's just gotten better and better. The Ninja 650, a lot of people get confused. This is a 650cc parallel twin, where the ZX6R, even though it's a 600, is an inline 4. So the twin cylinder bike is not as powerful as the inline 4. This is just not as high performance of a bike. This is a great bike maybe for a lot of different people. For a beginning rider, it's a great bike because it's easy to handle, it's not intimidating. When we have new riders, we always like to put them in as big a bike as they can stand, both budget-wise and they can physically handle. And for a lot of people, this is going to be that bike because we want folks, when they start riding, to be happy with that bike. And a lot of times if you go too small, you'll grow out of it really quickly. So this is a bike that you can learn on, plus you can be fun to ride even for an experienced rider. So that's that. But 650cc parallel twin, like we've been talking about. This bike is fuel injected, it's liquid cooled, it has dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, it has a cassette type transmission. We've talked about this in some of my other videos, but basically what that means is the transmission will pull out the side of the bike as opposed to having to remove the motor from the bike and completely disassemble the engine. You can access the engine in the transmission in about 2 hours as opposed to 2 days. Excuse me. This bike has a new style frame on it. The previous Ninja 650s had a trellis frame, and the frame kind of made a triangle. And what they've done is they removed the bar that went across here, and I believe that they did that to make the bike a little slimmer. But they added this dual pipe design here on the frame that's repeated back into the swing arm. That dual pipe to give it that added strength without having that bar here. The motor is a stressed member of this frame. There's no frame going around the engine this way. The frame just comes right around like this into the front. And then it has a single backbone rear frame, meaning as opposed to having 2 struts going this way, it has 1 strut and then it gets wider. And that keeps this seat real narrow, and that makes it a little easier for folks to reach the ground when the seat's not as wide. They did a few other things to this bike. They tried to increase the low end power, smooth out the power a little bit. One of the ways they did that is they added this connector pipe right here in the exhaust, and that smooths out the low end power some. They also increased the volume of the muffler, again that improves the low end power. They widened the handlebars by about 20 millimeters, which isn't a lot, but you know, to move your hands just a little bit on each side changes the position of the bike a little bit. Really gave this bike an updated look. Has the 2-piece seat now, which is very nice looking. Definitely looks more racy. The tank has a design much like the new 2010s, the 14s, the Concords, some of our other models. The fairings definitely are a little racier, a little sharper. The windshield looks like it has some adjustment on it. You can move this bracket right in here. I don't know if you can see that, up into here. You can raise that windshield some. That's nice. You have dual disc brakes in the front. Has the pedal style rotors, and what we mean by that is it has these little cuts in the rotors. Those allow for more surface area to dissipate heat. Has a twin piston caliper. It has 2 of them, one on that side, one on this side. Flush mount clear turn signals. Again, you can see that dual pipe in the swing arm. You have the single disc in the back with the pedal style rotors. side. Alright, so they've moved our ignition switch. The ignition switch used to be right up here on the triple clamp. The ignition switch is right here now. And integrated there. Your steering lock is still right there. I do like the new instrumentation on the Ninja 650. The 2009s, 10s, and 11s had a full digital instrumentation. I'm not a big fan of the digital tachometer. I really like the analog tachometer. The digital speedometer is fine because it's very easy to read and you get an exact number of what you're doing. But this gives you a lot of information. It has average miles per gallon, current miles per gallon, your estimated fuel range, the amount of fuel consumed, fuel gauge, I think I said that. I believe it also tells you gear position, but it really gives you a lot of information on that. Unfortunately, this bike's not serviced. We don't typically service our motorcycles. So I'm not going to be able to turn it on for you, but I love the new gauge on it. Much, much better than the previous model. We've got your handlebar controls here. We've got high beam and low beam, hazard lights, turn signals, and your horn button. Got the clutch here, clutch lever. It's got the little dial on the clutch that lets you adjust the reach from the grip to the lever by changing that dial. And then the same thing, this is your front handbrake, and you've got your little dial there to adjust the reach from the grip to the lever. So engine off and run, that kills just the motor. And then there's your start button. Fuel tank, these will run on 87 octane fuel. You do not have to run the premium gas on these. 17-inch wheels with radial tires, which just adds to the good handling on these bikes. You know, this is just a fun bike to ride. It's one of my favorite bikes that we sell. It's not just crazy fast, but it's peppy and it goes and has lots of torque. Twin cylinder bikes are really a lot of fun to ride. If you've never ridden one, you should give one a shot. But definitely a lot of fun. Well, there you have it. That's a quick look at the 2012 Ninja 650R in black. We are Mainland Cycle Center. We're located about 30 minutes south of downtown Houston, just off of I-45 in LaMarque, Texas. Our website is mainlandcyclecenter.com. Our phone number is 409-948-4969. Hey, thanks for watching our video. Give us a call, shoot us an email, come by and see us, let us know how we can help. It'd be our pleasure to do it.